life, the universe and everything. Is that pretty understated, eh?
Well, yes. I mean, we like to try and sort of get as much as we can in there. You know, the ambitions are sort of shamelessly universal.
How do you tackle that, though? How do you begin to amass that kind of information that you're aiming for?
The thing is, it's shared information. That's the point. Now, when you talk about amassing information, we're thinking about the way that guides normally get written, which is some editor has to go and find it all and amass it and put it out on paper, you know, a year later, by which time, of course, it's out of date. But what we're talking about here is doing it communally, so everybody collaborates in putting it in there. And everybody knows something about something. And if you put it in there and we start to sort of give it context, then it begins to be, you know, a universal guide. Now,
so if I sort of understand this correctly, so people, public, anybody, feeds the information to you, and then you sift through all of that, and then you verify it. And
no, the community. No, in fact, that's what we've done to begin with. But it's, you know, it's rather like tin pot dictators who say, "Okay, well, I'm going to rule the country, but I'm basically preparing it for democracy, and I'm going to hand it over later." You know, and you know, you don't hold your breath. But no, our intention is very much. We've started off taking an editorial role, but the great thing is, you put a piece of information up, and somebody else says, "No, that's not right," or you know, "I've got a better piece of information," or "Let me correct that for you." And gradually, you know, the whole collaborative community makes it better, makes it richer, and makes it more accurate.
But it has to be factual and correct, surely. I mean, you can't just take any old information from any old source and put it on your website and hope for the best.
Well, that's what newspapers do, isn't it?
Controversial point.
No, the curious thing is, and we always think that if you read it in the newspapers, also you'll see it on TV, that somehow guarantees its authenticity. Now, you and I, you know, we know something about television, we know something about newspapers, we know that isn't the case. No, the thing is that if you allow everybody access to it, then gradually it actually becomes self-correcting. Now, the other point, I mean, the other thing that's hugely different from the sort of guide we're used to before is that previously, what you'd do, I mean, you'd have your specialist people who'd go and, you know, sit in a restaurant or whatever and make notes, and then later that night or the following day write it all up and submit it to the editor who publishes it a year later. Now, when we move to, as we're just on the cusp of doing, to mobile devices, which you just sort of carry around with you and are always on the net, it means you can actually write whatever you want right there and then. I mean, you can say, well, you know, the fish here tonight is very good. And it's almost like sort of pinning a virtual post-it note into sort of cyberspace at that point. You know, so anybody else can pick it up.
Okay, I just want to divide it up. So explain then the three sections. What will go in that first section we talked about, the life section?
Essentially, we've called it Life, the Universe and Everything for obvious reasons. And life is anything to do with how you live, how you entertain yourself. That's, you know, anything to do with the way we entertain ourselves, the way we live and eat and so on. Then there's the universe, which is the physical world. So the thing about being web-based is people put stuff in from their desks. So people have put in what they've remembered about this or the other beach. One day, people will be putting what they think about the beach from the beach.
I know, but then on the other hand, you're only as good, really, as the information that you put into the system.
Yes.
So therefore, you have to depend on the best beaches going in.
Exactly. Well, the moment somebody puts in their idea of a best beach, somebody else says, no, I've got a better beach than that, look at this one. So in fact, it becomes less like publishing and more like life.
What on earth was in your head, going right back to that early radio series, what was in your head when you created all of that Hitchhiker stuff?
Heavens, if only I knew, Gloria.
What pills were you on at the time?
No, well, nothing. I mean, it's just, it just seemed to be obvious at the time. I mean, it's rather less, it's curious, as you may know, we're finally, after a sort of 20-year break, making it as a big movie in Hollywood. And,
are you writing that at the moment?
Yes, indeed, yes. I'm currently, I think, on draft about 37, and I think 38 is going to be the last one, as far as I can see. And luckily, I mean, the thing is, it's always been very difficult to explain in Hollywood. And luckily, we've now found a wonderful director who just absolutely gets it. And that's
so he understands then the magic numbers 42,
absolutely,
does he?
He absolutely, and his name is Jay Roach, and he directed the Austin Powers movies. This is not going to be like Austin Powers, I have to say, but he's a great director.
Well, I think it's fantastic, as I mentioned earlier on, that you've been able to turn your fantasy into reality with your web